Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Alex Decker. I'm Vice President of Customer Success here at Litmus Automation. And I have a special guest with us today, Regio Braccatoricio. Yes, he's from Poclain Hydraulics, and he's one of our earliest customers, I think, from a few years ago, and he's going to talk to me about his project and his background and kind of challenges that he's faced as he's done his digital transformation. So, Regio, why don't you introduce yourself a bit, and then maybe a bit about the background of Poclain as well.
Okay, thank you, Mark, and thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. So I am Regio Braccatoricio from Poclain Hydraulics. So Poclain Hydraulics is an industrial company specialized in hydraulics motors, pumps, valves, and so on. So we are based almost everywhere in the world, in the US, Europe, Asia. So myself, I am in charge of the group IT operations and Industry 4.0. So in charge of all of the application portfolios for manufacturing and supply chain.
Perfect. And so you put in our product maybe, what, 3 years ago now, I think?
3 years back, yes.
3 years back, and you've got 8 plants running Litmus Edge with Litmus Edge Manager kind of over top, right? And so let's talk a bit about kind of the architecture of how that looks. So you started with one plant, and you kind of put that on a production instance and a development instance, and it's running as a VM.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So in terms of architecture, so we have the Litmus Edge Manager in the global site, in the headquarters. And for each plant, we have a development environment and a production environment. So everything is connected to the Litmus Edge Manager.
Right.
That is the, let's say, the architecture of the application.
And that's all across your 8 plants.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfect. And so, what was the compelling reason? Like, what started you on your journey for this whole digital transformation? Like, what was the aha moment where you were like, oh, we got to do something here?
Okay. So basically, I joined Poclain 5 years back, and my main mission was to put in place an MES. That was my main mission. So we started in 2019, and 2020, we were ready to put it in place.
Yes.
And COVID-19 came. So I had no more budget for my MES project.
Okay.
And so I had the choice, maybe doing nothing, or maybe doing like the best of breed, because even if we had the MES project, we already had some application inside our shop floor, some vertical application, and the strategy of the group was like, yes, do our best with what we already have.
Yes.
So that is the thing. So
That's the main.
so like do more with less.
Manufacturing law.
So that was the initial. So my point was like I knew that we had data everywhere, from the assembly line, from the machining side, from the quality system, everywhere. And we had as well the data with various formats, like CSV or directly to the from the PLC or from a specific database and so on. And that's helped me to say, okay, I need something like a data hub, something that can connect to everything, where I can plug any type of data, any type of source of data, and bring it to the end user as something usable. So that was the initial story of our project.
Right. And so,
4 years back.
so when you collected that data, so it wasn't just PLCs and sensors, you were pulling it from actual applications and databases as well, right? To pull it out.
Yeah.
And what were you doing with that data once you had it? Was there any in-plant processing you did first, or did you just send it to, did you have a cloud system as well that you were feeding, correct?
So basically, our strategy is like we don't collect data for collecting data. We are collecting data to address some specifications.
Yeah.
So we are just not doing everything, just doing the 20% needed, and then create value with those data. So the point is like discussing with the operational team, finding what are the real pain points,
Right.
and based on it, we identify if collecting data is helpful or not. That is the restarting point for my project.
Right. And so when you talk with the operational leaders across the different plants,
Yeah.
how much similarity did they have when they found a problem? Was it consistent, or did you say like the plant in Verbery had this problem, and maybe the plant in New York has that problem? How consistent was it?
So basically, we have two main processes. So we have the machining, we have the assembly site, and in the middle we have some heat treatment as well. So more or less, the process is more or less similar. What is not at the same level is the awareness of the people from this point. So
I've heard that before. Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
some people have more or less the let's say the data mindset, and for those people, it's easy. And what we did is like to start the process, I did something like a push. So we create, let's say, a quick use case, show them that yes, from this data we can have this.
Okay.
That was the first stage.
Right.
And with this, that gave, let's say, some trigger to their head that something is possible. And then we help them and we discuss with them, okay, so what are the ratio and so on and so on. So I can take an example in Czech Republic, for example, where when I visited the plant, I discussed with the quality guy, the quality engineer.
Yes.
So he's working in Excel. And he's like, a lot of files, and I discussed with him like where did that come from. So we go to the shop floor. He said me USB key. Like,
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And I said that he took almost 1 hour or 1 hour and a half each morning to prepare data.
To get the data and then
Prepare the Excel file,
Yeah.
and after that, preparing for the morning meeting.
Okay.
So 1 hour and a half later, he's done. But what we did is like we analyzed the source of data. We connected all of this to Litmus, and then now they have automatically the dashboard, and so he doesn't need anymore doing anything manually. So it is one example.
So he can work with the data rather than go get the data.
Exactly.
That's the important
Yeah.
piece.
So that I said to him that they are doing the real job of quality engineer.
Finally, yeah, so not did it first. So that was in one plant. So did that method, that process, then work its way across the other 7 plants?
Exactly. So what's your so I am a lazy guy, so I don't want to do
Yes.
one thing twice.
Yeah.
So, what we are doing is like once we have a use case, we take the test from one plant and we ask all the other plants if they have similar requests.
Okay.
And then we create a template for this.
Yes.
In that way, once this use case is in place, we can scale for all of the plants.
Right.
And all of these cases we have is scalable for any plant.
Right. So one plant solves a problem.
Yeah.
If that problem is related to other plants, you can kind of template it and now push it, and everybody gets the win.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a nice thing.
So basically, for example, we have the test benches everywhere. We have test benches for each plant.
Yes.
For pump, for motors, for valve. So we have 3 types of test benches. So what did is like we create the template for each one of them, implemented the data collection, implemented as well the dashboard, and from this, just for example, last week we added one test bench in Italy.
Yeah.
So it took me 2 to 5 minutes to add it to the system, and they get it, and that's it.
And everybody gets it. That's a nice way. And so does that make sometimes there's acceptance of that, but do you find any cultural, like, I don't want to do it that way? Like, do you ever have still the pushback, or does the ease of the implementation or the eloquency of the problem solving kind of counteract that? Or does that still exist?
So we are working in, let's say, in agile mode. So in the beginning, we implement with the idea we have, but afterward, we can change it as well. So that is the, let's say, the advantage of working with a small team and with an internal team as well. You know, when we implemented the Litmus in the beginning, we started only once we know exactly the application, and during the project we did it ourselves with the release support from Litmus and for the development. So it helped us as well to be more agile instead of waiting from consultant company or something. And of course, sometimes we did something bad, and then we'll work on it.
You work on it, and then you get it fixed. Yes.
And currently, for example, if some process we implemented 3 years back, so we review it to, let's say, to simplify and as well to provide as well more traceability, because we have more and more use cases. And the problem is like my team is not growing. I just manage with the same team with more use cases, so I need to automate more way to monitor each use case or to troubleshoot them.
Yeah, which is a really interesting point, because in the before scenario, if each plant was doing their own thing, you would have 1 or 2, maybe more people doing their own thing, managing all that at every plant. So 8 times 2 is 16.
Yeah.
But when you centralize these types of concepts and use cases, how big's your team? You need a team of 2, 3, right?
Yeah. My team, I have a team of 2 for the shop floor side.
Yes.
But in parallel, I have as well a shared service center in India. So I have 2 developers as well there who are helping us for some use cases.
Right. And so that covers all your plants.
That covers all of the plant, and what we do as well is like they said I'm a lazy guy, so what we do is like we create a template and we give it to the end users, so they can use our template by just putting some parameters. So like, for example, if you would like to add a given machine to the system, you just need to take your template, give that I am in India for this machine, for this assembly line, blah, 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 for this parameter, and that's it.
And that's it. So that's nice. So the friction is gone.
Yeah.
That's so big, especially in manufacturing. If you make it easy, people will use it. If you make it difficult, then they'll push back.
Exactly, yeah.
Change is not easy there.
And I think one of the key points is like, if you just push the use case like a technical things, nobody will use it. You must address a real use case, a real pain in the shop floor. In that way, they will use it for sure.
Yes, that's a very good point. Is you, and I think it's one of the points here. Like a lot of times you hear and read that these types of projects fail.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times they fail because of what you just said. It wasn't a real use case that gives a tangible result that proves why you're doing this. It's more of a science experiment, you know. So I think one of the great things that you and your team did was you surveyed the population, you found the pain points, and then you actually addressed a real need with Litmus to fix a problem.
Yeah.
And I think what that does, it drives acceptance of this actually works, because if you can take away the pain, well, why wouldn't you keep taking away the pain, right? And I think that's a great story just on its own. You can use Litmus or whatever product you want, but at the end you have to know what you're doing to get results, right? You can't just play around. You can do a little bit, but you have to find something that has a tangible meaning to the stakeholders who are going to use the end result.
Exactly. And I think one of the key points as well is like, so I have 20 years in the manufacturing side.
Yes.
I have a lot of background as well. Even if I am from the IT side, I now as well the business side. And I think it was helpful as well, the fact that I am like having a hybrid profile, business and IT.
Yes.
And it's really helpful and the key points to accelerate. Because, for example, when we implemented Litmus 3 years back, we did it for the 9 plants at that time in less than 8 months. Because in the beginning, when I started to manage the project, like the normal project, like 3 or 4 months for one plant, and that's the end. The last plant we did 2 years back. 2 years after.
Yes.
And the plant manager called me, Rija, why I am the last one?
Well, because you weren't ready.
And I reversed the way to manage the project. Like, okay, I should create like a readiness criteria, and from this, the pressure is not on my side, but to the plant manager side. So they have to prepare all of those readiness criteria, and then the first in, first out. So I start with the first plant.
Whoever ready first goes first.
Yeah.
Yes, and I remember the spreadsheet you showed me on those early days. There was a nice matrix of all the plants and all the use cases
Yeah.
and the prereqs, and you were turning them red, yellow, green.
Yeah.
And you're right, when that plant was ready, they got to go.
Yeah.
And I think the competition part is good because you can see who's ready and eager, so you're not wasting your time on somebody who may be a bit later, right? So I think your method was spot on, right?
Yeah.
You pick something small and worthwhile, but then you put the onus back on the plants to be ready, but you tease them with, here's the benefit you're going to get.
Yeah.
So well done, very well done. So, okay, so now it's all done. It took you, what, 7-8 months was the stretch from plant 1 to
Yeah.
plant 8?
Yes. So what we did is like we are so it's not only me; it's also a whole team behind because I cannot do it without some IT infrastructure team as well.
Right.
So we have all of the virtual environment for the architecture side. So we have a good team as well for the infrastructure side,
That helps.
cybersecurity, and so on. So
Yes.
I push everyone in parallel to have.
Good at that. I understand. Yes. Very good.
So need to have as well a good relationship with everyone as
With
well.
the stakeholders, yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
so it is one of the key points, and then once it's there, I think as well the commitment of top management is key.
Yes.
Yes, because if there is no commitment of top management, plant manager will say, no, it's not my priority.
It's not your priority. I don't have
The
to.
priority, yeah.
Yes.
So that was also the one of the key points and Poclain, like yes, they give me the mission and they support for 200%.
Right. So they gave you go do this. So you by default got the top support. You didn't have to go get it. They
Exactly.
gave it to you.
Exactly.
Right. Which is nice.
So I think it's key as well because when discussing with some of our folks from the industry as well, but the problem is like the top management don't know exactly what to do, but they don't trust as well the guy who should manage it, and at the end it's complicated to make some advancement.
Yes. But again, I like your approach, and I think that might have helped with your mission. Was you found something real.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. I'm going to say it again, right? So you brought value in day one,
Yeah.
use case 1. Here's how this is going to make your life
Exactly.
better.
Yeah.
So
So what we try as well is like yes, we don't do two use cases in parallel. Use case by use case.
use case by use case.
Push it
Like
in
it's-
production, and it's very important to see the value, So that is very important. So in the beginning, they don't know what is possible.
Right.
Now they know what is possible, and the more and more we are implementing some. We have some very important use cases. For example, for quality. When we have data, now we know the reason why those parts are not good or not when we have some call from the customer. And thanks to this, we put in place some Poclain UK system.
Okay.
And it is one of the trouble we had with your team as
Yes,
well.
yes.
We need to solve as soon as possible because it's blocking for the production.
Yes.
And now Litmus is becoming, let's say, it's mandatory to have it up and running.
So,
Yes.
are you finding
More
more use cases are coming to your team now,
Yes.
or are they starting to do their
So,
own use cases?
are you finding that more and more use cases are coming to your team now, or are they starting to do their own use cases a bit in each plant, or how's that whole project?
Some plant already have managed their use case, it's fine. But what we try to do is like when they have use case, we ask them to tell us because my team already have the best practice to implement something, how to do it more easily. So now the operational team come to us, say, we need this, how can we do this, and then we can help them.
That's why
we try to
nice.
But this organization is not sustainable. So that's why we try to do something simple and knowledge, let's say technical knowledge, in order to give it to the operational team. That way, my team can concentrate to more use cases more variable things for the team. So very important to have this, and it's, we did not finish it to spread because really work at one of the front, and it's one of the big challenges because we need someone that take the subject at the front level.
Yes.
The problem is like as man don't want to have some dedicated people for this, but it's already someone already there on the shop floor.
Yes.
So can handle this, but the problem is like you can ask the guy who's 100% full. It's a normal mission, so they can do 20% on this. So it's kind of change management we are working on because it is already sustainable. The plant will be by themselves.
Yeah, that's the dream. They manage themselves, they do the practical things, fix the problems, and send the common stuff to the team.
Done the project, what's next on the
Okay,
horizon?
so
Are you looking at
now that you're here, I know you've done the project, what's next on the horizon? Are you looking at machine learning? I know you're working with our UNS a bit. What's the vision from each of the Poclain?
So let's say for the first step, having data, having reporting, having real-time dashboarding, we have it. We as well to push data to its processes for the interlocking. So that is fine. The next step for us is like, for example, if I take some simple case, energy consumption, for example. Just collecting the energy consumption is good, but it doesn't give any value.
Right.
Because I cannot say that, okay, is the plant produced during this consumption or not?
Right.
How many parts I created, or how the value added created by the plant for this consumption, and so on. So we need to contextualize data
Okay.
to make a an automatic cross analysis with the data from the shop floor, data from the ERP, some quality information, some cost, and so on and so on. So those of things is our big challenge now, and for me it is the next step to provide real value for the end users. That's why we are targeting for the unified namespace and working as well with your team
Yes.
to test the Litmus UNS on this on these topics.
Okay, got it.
And after the machine learning is like
Yes.
I think it's too early because we need to have all data standardized, cleaned before having the machine learning.
Right. Yeah, I think the context you're about to add now with the unified namespace will help you on that next step as well. So very good. Okay. That's all for my questions. Thank you so much. That's all I got. Man.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Very much.